So the Browns are in Carolina, guys. Practice going on as we speak. Apparently it's really bad weather in Charlotte, North Carolina right now. There's been a lot of talk of rain, but they are practicing in the bad weather. And after the show yesterday, and you see the forecast there, not pretty. So there'll be a lot of rain today. But yesterday it got announced that Joe Flacco, not announced, but Mary Kay reported.
And Stefanski confirmed this morning
that Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and Dillon Gabriel are all not going to play. Of course, the idiots that were getting worked up about them signing Tyler Huntley, which we talked about yesterday.
I didn't get that either. I didn't.
It was so bizarre. Well, because there was this idea, I guess, that he was going to take reps away from.
You guys talk about it. We don't have to get.
You can't have Shedeur play an entire preseason game, and he's a little banged up too. So the idea that they were going to play him for an entire preseason game is silly.
Like, guys got hurt. You had to sign somebody.
Of course.
Why is that a big?
Fans getting upset is one thing. I saw a couple of media members talking about it. I was like, this is nuts.
I called Zach yesterday. I'm like, hey, like, seriously, what am I missing?
Yeah.
And he said, like, it's more of the spectacle that they have 5 quarterbacks on the roster.
Sure,
now they have to go and it's the Browns being the Browns.
And it's easy to pick on the Browns.
They're an easy punchline.
Yes.
But when 2 of your quarterbacks go down and you're not going to play Flacco in the open, like, what are you going to do? You got to sign somebody. Like, I thought it was really overblown and much about nothing.
He's going to be here for a couple of weeks. When they all get healthy, probably he's going to be gone, and that's going to be that.
I saw a clip of Dustin talking on your show, and I thought he was great. Like, it's a win-win for both sides.
Of course. You're right. He's going to get an opportunity. Maybe somebody will pick him up as a second or third quarterback because he plays in this preseason game. And for them, they know him. He knows them. They know him. He was here last camp.
Although I don't know how much this playbook resembles last year's playbook.
True, but at least he has a little bit of a relationship, some familiarity. So it's better than signing a guy off the street who's never been here.
No, it makes perfect sense.
Exactly. So, but obviously Shedeur is going to play, you would think, at least 2.5 quarters of this game.
Yeah.
I would think.
About a half,
right?
maybe a little more.
And then Huntley will play. But today we found out that Joe Flacco was going to take, I don't know about all the first-team reps, but the majority of the first-team reps in practice. So, of course, that stirs controversy. Well, why are you not giving Shedeur the first reps if he's playing in the preseason game? I think I know the answer, but go ahead, guys, if you want to jump in first here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's crazy that Shedeur's going to start the game on Friday and not get the majority of the first-team reps today in joint practice, because when Kevin Stefanski and the Browns organization are looking at this big picture, this is a chance to see Joe in the first-team offense, which will most likely be your starting quarterback in Week 1 when the games actually count in the standings against the number 1 caliber defense in Carolina, as opposed to Shedeur, who's going to get the start on Friday. And I'm thrilled to see what Shedeur can do against Carolina's ones, because Dave Canales, their head coach, did say the starters were going to play a series or 2 in each of the first 2 preseason games. But Flacco should be getting the majority of the reps against the ones in joint practice, because those are the reps that he needs to get ready for the actual regular season. Joe could sit out a random Tuesday in July, miss a couple drills in training camp, give the reps to the other guys, but these joint practices, there's only 3 of them. Joe's not going to play in the preseason. These are his meaningful reps.
Well, I don't know that he did.
Well, at least on Friday. He's not playing this Friday.
I think he'll play.
He'll play
the second game.
I meant this Week 1 preseason game, whereas Shedeur is going to get all those meaningful reps. So when you're trying to divvy it up, Shedeur is going to end up with more overall reps, considering he's going to play, in my opinion, about a half, maybe even a little more football, and Joe Flacco's not going to be in uniform on Friday. But for this particular joint practice, it's about getting your team ready for Week 1 of the regular season, not necessarily Week 1 of the preseason. And Week 1 of the regular season, I'd be shocked if Joe Flacco isn't the starting quarterback.
I don't understand how we got to the point where there has to be a good guy and a bad guy in everything. Like, it can't just be, you know what I mean? Like,
it's
the Browns are always the bad guy. The Browns are always the bad guy in this, and they're setting up.
A lot of it they've caused this.
They invited. I said the other day they invited this in when they did what they did at the draft. But like, okay, so because I was thinking yesterday, well, Shedeur has to start, right? Shedeur has to start the game, and then I heard Mary Kay say, maybe you start Huntley because you don't want to throw Shedeur in against the ones when he hasn't had those reps yet. So let Huntley take the brunt of it almost as a sacrificial lamb. And then when Carolina pulls its starters, then you can put Shedeur in. I thought, all right, that makes a little bit of sense. But for all the people that are screaming about Shedeur and you're setting him up to fail, and I heard Louis Riddick is so clouded on this because of his relationship with Dion. Like every day he gets on and screams about how the Browns are setting up Shedeur to fail. I'm like, would you be saying that about Riley Leonard in Indianapolis if the Colts were starting him? Would you be saying that about Kyle McCord if he was starting? Would you be saying that about Quinn Ewers if the Dolphins were
What I don't
starting
get about that is the complaint's been he's not getting any opportunities.
Now he's getting an opportunity.
They're not rushing him.
Now he's getting the opportunity.
Now he's getting the opportunity,
and now you haven't prepared him for it.
It's bad either way. I don't understand.
Can you imagine had they started Tyler Huntley?
Oh
what the cries would be of, look, he still can't even get the opportunity. And now he is going to start. And if he doesn't play well, it's, well, you set him up to like the Browns can't win under any circumstance, no matter what they do. And for the record, I hope the kid goes out and balls. I want to see him play incredibly well. I want to see him grab hold of this job and never let go for the next 15 years. Like, that's what I think the Browns would love to see that. I think fans would love to see that. I think we would love to see that. We would love to see this kid take hold of the opportunity.
The show would go to the moon if that happens.
But I'm like, I don't understand how we've got to the point where everything the Browns, and listen, for 25 years, the Browns made a lot of mistakes. But I do understand how they've brought him along the way that they have. It does make sense to me. And I don't see anyone else saying that Kyle McCord was set up to fail, or Quinn Ewers has been set up to fail, or Riley Leonard, or any of these. He was a 5th-round draft pick. They're treating him like a 5th-round draft pick throughout the early parts of camp. That's all this is. But people just want to make this into more than what it is, and it's just like, man, no matter what happens.
I hadn't heard Louis Riddick. What has he specifically said? What's his example of the Browns are setting him up to fail?
He said he's not getting any first-team reps. He hasn't had many reps at all in training camp.
Yeah.
They're going to put him in against the Carolina defense and expect him to play to a certain level. And because he hasn't had the reps in camp and the reps in practice with the reps with the guys he may be playing with on Friday, he's being put in a position to fail.
I don't see. First of all, what other choice do the Browns have? All their other quarterbacks are hurt.
That's exactly it.
They have no other choice. Would Louis Riddick be happy, as you said, if Tyler Huntley just played the whole game and Shedeur came in late? First of all, it's not like the Panthers are that good a team. Right. It's not like you're playing like a top.
You're not playing the Eagles next week.
Right. The
Eagles starters.
And the Panthers' first-team defense is going to play what, 1 or 2 possessions?
Probably.
So, let's say Shedeur doesn't play well. Any rational person is not going to write him off based on a couple of series in the preseason.
Of course.
I get we deal with irrationality a lot, but like I just said yesterday, and everybody should feel this way, even though I know it won't be the case. I am not going to overreact to how Shedeur Sanders plays, good or bad.
I said that Monday.
It's crazy one way or the other. If he stinks, I'm not overreacting. If he's great, I'm not overreacting. I'm telling you that. I know some people will. A lot of people will. One way or the other. I'm not going to be one of them.
I said Monday, when there's no emotion involved, let's get this out now. I remember when Brady Quinn went and balled out in the preseason.
DTR.
What good did that do?
Nothing.
But if he plays poorly, it doesn't mean it's the end of the world either.
Yeah.
I
remember the first preseason I know he's not a quarterback, but the first preseason in the NFL, there was all hubbub about Jamar Chase having bad hands and dropping a lot of footballs.
Oh, wow.
Cam Newton had one of the worst preseasons I could ever remember. People were saying, this dude can't even throw the football.
Right.
And then in the first 2 weeks of the real
Put
season,
up huge numbers.
He set the rookie. I think it's been broken since, but he threw for more passing yards than any other rookie ever. When I think of Shedeur, though, getting the start here, guys, and in practice today, in the game on Friday, whatever happens later, sometimes you just need that opportunity, right? And there are certain players, quarterbacks kind of elevate to another level, but in any position, some guys are just gamers. It doesn't really matter who they're playing with, who they're playing against, whether they're with the first stringers, whether they're with the third stringers, whether they're throwing to equipment managers. They are of the caliber of player that raises the bar of everyone else around them. And we'll find out, not definitively, not conclusively, but to a certain extent if Shedeur has that kind of makeup, where it doesn't really matter if he's playing with the 2s and 3s against Carolina's 1s, or if he's playing with the 3s and 4s against Carolina's 2s. If he is able to, and once again, it's just one opportunity. He's going to get more down the road, but this is a chance for him to come out and show, hey, I'm a baller. I'm a gamer. This is what I do. I've played quarterback at a high level my entire life, going back to high school, to Jackson State, to Colorado, to now in Cleveland. You put me on the field when the lights are the brightest, when it's game time, when it's go time, I produce, I give you results, and I score points, and I'm excited to see what he can do on Friday night.
We've become a country of conspiracy theories and agendas, and it's also frustrating. There is no. Why would the Browns be trying to set up Shedeur Sanders to fail?
Were you on the show when we did that topic? Were you on that day?
No, I don't think he was.
You must. We did a whole topic on that.
Like, why? So does somebody have a good reason why the Browns want him to fail?
There is no logical reason.
That doesn't make any sense
traded
whatsoever.
Up for him. They literally traded up in the draft.
I don't understand why anybody would suggest that. To me, that's your own agenda, not the agenda of the Browns. And again, I have no problem ripping the Browns to shreds. I've done it a million times.
We all have.
It's in this case, I mean, I just don't see what the issue is here. Of course, Joe Flacco's getting the reps today because the overall preseason, as you said, Mike, is about getting ready for the season, not getting ready for a preseason game. And Joe Flacco is, I've said all along, should be the starter. I know there was some, possibility that Kenny Pickett was. The injury seems to have put that, and that's why Joe Flacco is getting, because those practice reps for him are more important than game reps. And you don't want a 40-year-old quarterback taking hits. So you're going to play him as little in the preseason as possible, but he still needs to get ready. He'll be taking the first reps probably against Philly next week in the scrimmages, and then he'll play in the game probably a little, but not a lot, And then Shedeur will play next week. Maybe Dillon Gabriel will play next week if he's healthy. Maybe Pickett will play next week. I don't know, but man, not every single decision has to be a hidden agenda on everything. And Shedeur Sanders seems perfectly fine. He has a good attitude.
He was thrilled about getting this opportunity.
I don't know. Maybe behind the scenes he's annoyed at how things have gone. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it in any way.
I've heard nothing, not a peep about that.
So I don't know why everybody else is worked up if he's not worked up. Yeah. He's getting this. To me, if I were him, I'd be thrilled that I'm getting to play in this preseason game.
And
I wouldn't be thinking of it as a negative. That's silly.
No, he's getting a chance to go against ones. If he goes out and people are going to overreact. And, Bo, you're right. We should not overreact, good or bad, to whatever happens on Friday. We should not.
Right.
People will.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
We will. I know you say you won't.
I won't. I will not.
You are you.
I'm going to be called a hater because I'm going to be neutral about it.
I know.
Unless he stinks, and then...
Even if he stinks.
But
you'll still be called a hater because
I'm saying
you are
if he stinks, I won't be a hater because I'll be neutral about it.
But my point is, this is an opportunity. Like, this is what you want as a fifth-round draft pick. And I know his name is Shedeur Sanders, and I know he comes with all the fanfare, and he's had a great college career, and he's got...
Doesn't matter. He's got his opportunity. That's all that matters.
He's a fifth-round pick starting a preseason game with an opportunity to show what he can do against Carolina's number one defense in a couple series, and then their number twos. How many fifth-round picks? We could go to Riley Leonard, Kyle McCord, Will Howard, all those late-round quarterbacks that were drafted in the same range and/or later than Shedeur are getting that opportunity.
I don't know.
To put
are
it
any
on
of them?
tape. I don't know.
None that I know of.
I'm just speaking out loud
I have
here.
no idea.
They're going to get that opportunity in week one of the preseason to put what they can do on tape to be evaluated and then move forward when, guess what? He's getting this opportunity and Dillon Gabriel's not. Right? Like Shedeur can't, in theory, Shedeur can't fall down the depth chart any further. He's already the fourth quarterback in terms of how they're putting their reps together. It's Flacco, Pickett, Gabriel, and Shedeur. If he plays well, he can only elevate his status within the Browns locker room. Right? Like, there's no... I don't want to say there's no downside because if he plays terrible, then obviously people will overreact. But he can't go down. He
that's not real. That's not downside because that's all noise from the outside. Nobody cares.
The Browns
about
aren't going to overreact.
But that's what I'm saying. Like he can only move up. This is only a chance.
So that's what I don't understand. So I mean, Louis Riddick's been around the league forever. He should know better.
But that's what I'm saying. He's got a.
He's real tight with Deion.
He's got a very close.
But what I'd like to know is, let's say Shedeur stinks in this game.
Yeah.
What is that like? Does that ruin his career?
No.
Of course not.
No.
If there a lot of people out there want him off the Browns anyway, so maybe that'll lead to him being off. It won't, but maybe if anything, you should be happy about that because maybe it leads to him getting off the Browns. The Browns are people that are in football understand, and Louis Riddick should certainly understand this, that we're not going to make as an organization sweeping judgments on a quarterback based on one preseason game. The Browns are aware that he hasn't had much opportunity with the first team. That will be taken into account when they evaluate him.
Lewis has been around the NFL long enough. He understands how many reps the fourth quarterback gets.
Yeah.
It's not many. It's the way it's been in the NFL forever. People,
That's it.
The thing I keep seeing is people want a fair competition. Well, fair does not mean equal. Everyone thinks fair means equal. Fair does not mean equal. When you're the fourth quarterback, you don't get the same reps that the first quarterback does. That's just the reality of the NFL and where things stand. So he has been treated fairly because he's been treated as the fourth-string quarterback, which is what he is. Now he has his opportunity to go out this weekend and change that.
And speaking of opportunities, shout out to Anthony Lima, who did a little digging here and pulled a great stat. These are quarterback attempts in preseason games under Stefanski. And historically speaking, he has let his quarterbacks throw the ball quite a bit in preseason games. Mm-hmm. In 4 starts, DTR 18, 17, 20, and 25. 2 games for Huntley, 20 and 22. Kellen Mond, 24 passes. Dobbs, 20 and 20. Josh Rosen in that one preseason game, he played 20. Jacoby Brissett, 23. Kyle Lauletta.
Josh Rosen set up to fail?
23.
He was set up to fail.
22. And
the Browns are anti-Semitic.
17 and 19. There's a chance we see Shedeur throw 20 passes in the first half against Carolina. That is 20 passes of game tape that the Browns will help use to evaluate whether or not Shedeur should get more reps and move up the path. Like, it is a terrific, incredible opportunity in front of Shedeur Sanders. And going back to what I said earlier, some guys are just built for the moment. Some guys are and some guys aren't, right? Yeah. We've seen the guys who have all the fanfare, have all the hype. They get in the game, and guess what? They look like a deer in headlights. This is a chance for Shedeur to prove he's built for these kind of moments. And it really doesn't matter who he's playing with. Great quarterbacks elevate everyone else around him. It's time to see if Shedeur can do that.
Yeah, I think you're a little over the top here with what he can do in a preseason game, but all right, that's fine. Now, you got another read here, Earl, before we get to the second part of Brown's practice topic?
Just some things to add. I'm searching Twitter looking for
hold on.
Things that's being said.
Your headphones on your crown?
Yeah, I know.
Look fire.
Zach Jackson tweeted out a few more snaps for Flacco. Now Huntley is in. I just don't get it. Even Allen Iverson would admit that this is important. That this is an important practice. It is important to note that Daniel Oyefusi tweeted out the first set of, I guess, the team drills. Flacco went first, Shedeur second, Huntley went third. So I guess they're going back through the cycle, and I assume Flacco went first and Huntley went second.
Okay. How does this person know that Huntley went second?
This is Zach Jackson.
It's Zach.
This is Zach Jackson.
There.
Oh, Zach said it? I thought you said this other person said it.
The other person is Daniel Oyefusi. He's there too.
No.
Daniel.
Oh, did one of them? I thought you were okay. I misunderstood. I thought you were reading a message from a
Zach
fan.
Jackson.
What's that?
Zach Jackson tweeted that.
Okay. Zach Jackson said that Tyler Huntley took second team reps?
Yes, but it's just a vague tweet. A few more snaps for Flacco.
Yeah.
Now Huntley is in. I just don't get it. Even Allen Iverson would admit this is an important practice.
And that was Zach Jackson that said that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Mike,
well.
you can check your phone.
I'm looking at it right now. Zach said.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
he said
fair.
Sanders got 4 snaps, 2 throws behind the second offensive line. Flacco back in, and then Huntley went in. Second time through 7-on-7, it went Flacco, Gabriel, Pickett, Huntley. Sanders did not do that 7-on-7 drill, according to Zach Jackson. And then first 7-on-7, Pickett went first for the Browns. Then Sanders got 3 throws. Then Gabriel got 5. Sanders went 2 of 3, both to Floria. Gabriel went 4 for 5, and the one miss was a drop. So we'll have a better understanding of how this kind of parsed itself out and how the reps were divvied up when we're not reading Twitter in the middle of the TV show trying to decipher a couple of tweets.
Well, listen, we were just defending the Browns, and the fact that Zach is saying, what's going on here, that to me is meaningful.
What did Mary Kay say on this situation?
I don't know why I thought when Earl first read that, I thought he was doing some random
Mary Kay's only
Twitter.
tweeted once at practice. She said in 7-on-7s, Pickett went 3 for 4 with a throwaway. Sanders went 1 for 3 with a throwaway. Gabriel 4 for 5 with a drop. Flacco didn't do the first round of 7-on-7s. And that is all she has tweeted from practice. And there's no video at practice today.
Right.
So if you're expecting video clips, you will not get any video clips. The Panthers do not allow video at practice.
This is weird, though.
What? I'm still not totally following what he's saying.
So the second time through 7-on-7 was Flacco, Gabriel, Pickett, Huntley.
Flacco, Flacco, Gabriel,
no Sanders,
Pickett, Huntley.
Why would you do that?
No, I don't know. I don't get that.
And so all this defending of the Browns we've been doing listen. That is silly. I don't understand
12 minutes ago,
Yeah.
I'm reading now Daniel Oyefusi of ESPN from 12 minutes ago. 11 on 11, Flacco up with the starting offense. Next tweet, Sander up next with the 2s in 11 on 11. That was from 10 minutes ago.
Okay.
That's where he went 1 for 3. Incomplete pass, short to Bates was broken up. Marshall run got called back for holding. Williams short run right side. Short completion to Sal Cannella on the drag route. So Sanders did go second in the 11 on 11s. Huntley went with the 3s.
That makes sense.
And then putting the pieces together, reading a Twitter timeline, then Zach Jackson was tweeting about 7 on 7s.
Right.
And that's what
they did 4 sets of 7 on 7s, and Shedeur didn't take any of them, which is weird.
All right, let's see the rest of practice now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is weird.
Yeah, it is.
And Zach is saying, what do you call it? He said,
it's tough to do this reading off a phone trying to
Yeah.
Right.
We will dive into this more
He
tomorrow.
said a few more snaps for Flacco. Now Huntley's in. We read this before.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. So, I mean, Zach, is, he's got his finger on the pulse better than anybody there.
Yeah, I agree.
So that is weird.
So let's.
But we got to see the rest of it play out and find out why.
Yeah.
Who knows? There might be a legitimate reason for it.
I mean, Huntley's got to take snaps at some point. He's got to play in this game Friday. He came in off the street. So you got to get Huntley some sort of rep somewhere. But yes, Shedeur should be taking, if he's not taking starters reps, he should be with the backups, which it sounds like he was in the 11 on 11s.
Right. Because he's mostly going to play with the backups.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to play with the 2s. Because the starters, I mean, on the offensive line, who's going to start the game?
Well, Stefanski said he'd give us a little more information on that later. So
I mean, do we think any of the offensive linemen are going to play?
Joel's not going to start.
Wyatt won't start.
Conklin's not going to start. Wyatt's probably not going to. Although, well, no, they're not. Yeah. They probably will start the entire. Well, I don't know.
DeWand, will he play?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You might start your entire because if you're playing your starting quarterback, you're playing your starting offensive line. But the Browns are not playing their starting quarterbacks. So they may not play any starters on the offensive line.
All right, more sabotage information.